Good morning, Metro, and happy Monday. We've been diving deep into the mindset of top producing agents over the past few weeks. What sets them apart, what drives them, and how they continue to thrive even in challenging markets. Today, we have the incredible privilege to welcome one of Remax Metro's very best, Al Benetti, who just closed an astounding 18 million in sales for the month of April. Al, I still remember when you joined Metro shortly after I did, and we moved into the new office space. Uh, and our offices were actually right across the hall from each other. And I saw you day after day putting in the work, pounding the phones, following up with clients, doing the uncomfortable work consistently. You were building a business by design, not by default. And we want to thank you today for being here to share your journey, but also we're interested in knowing your take on what's going on at the beaches since the hurricane and how you continue to grow in both a strong and challenging market. So we're going to start off today because we're very impressed on how you have maintained your consistency. What would you say is your non-negotiable daily routine that keeps your pipeline strong no matter what the market?
Well, I mean, I would say that consistent advertising. I'm a big believer in lead generation, generating leads by any form at all. I don't care if it's Zillow, I don't care if it's realtor.com. A lead is a lead. And I know a lot of people don't feel that way. My in my prior life, I was a lead generating machine. We did at Buy Owner when we had that company, we did a ton of advertising. And my salespeople, if they didn't close 50% of the homes that we scheduled appointments and got them inside of, that was an unusual situation. At 40%, they were fired. So I
Mhm.
had salespeople that with just a lead off a television commercial would come in and they would be required to go out and close between 40 and 60% of those appointments. So I'm a believer in lead generation, in getting my face or my voice in front of as many people as I can. So I would say consistent advertising that never stops. I will say right now we're in a market where everybody's bailing on their advertising. And I personally just added another 300 homes to mine because I know that people are not doing what costs money right now. So I would say that would be the number one thing that I would say is never stop getting yourself in front of people.
Okay, so now you mentioned that you've just added 300. So tell us about what that looks like. I mean, what are you doing?
Well, I'm doing Real Trends, which they came into the office and talked to us.
Mhm.
So I cover the beaches from basically Bella Vista, um, all our condo complex next to me, all the way down to 64th. So I'm covering 40, basically a 30 block area.
Mhm.
And every home is getting these beautiful 8.5 by 11 flyers. So that's a piece. And honestly, I hadn't really marketed to sellers for the longest time, but that's one of the big pieces now, in addition to my Zillow advertising that I do.
Mhm. Mhm. And Zillow has been a big part. I know in the beginning, when, like I said, we were across the hall from each other, you were doing a lot of Zillow leads,
And
right?
I still do. I mean, Zillow for me contributes to way more than 50% of my income. So I didn't go back and look to see out of the 6 sales that I had in April. Um, I didn't go back and look how many of those were Zillow leads, but I would say 6 million of that was probably Zillow leads.
So you have a very high conversion rate on leads that are
I
coming
do.
into you.
Mhm. I do.
Mhm.
Um, so when a Zillow call comes in for me, there's two things at every call that happens on every call. One is, how can I show you the property? I'm dealing in the beach. So majority of my calls that come in, people aren't even in town. So if I can't show them in person, I offer a video tour. You know, our business is 75% wasting time, but 25% of the time we make great money.
Mhm.
So I don't consider, and I say that facetiously, but I don't consider doing a video tour or getting my face in front of somebody, even if they don't end up being a buyer. To me, there's nothing more important than that one-on-one FaceTime, because that customer feels obligated, or at least more obligated, to work with you if you have gone out of your way to somebody in Wisconsin to go and do a video tour. So that to me is very important.
Okay. All right. So we've all heard that leads are crap leads, but in your case,
There's
they
no
feel
such
that
thing.
that's right.
There's no such thing as a crap lead. A lead is a lead. Are you going to have to go through some crap? That's part of that 75% wasting time part that we do. But my conversion rate on Zillow is probably close to 20%. That's an astounding number compared to what most people do. I'm fortunate that I give very good phone. I mean, I'm good talking to people. Um, and I can build confidence through my conversations with people on the phone. Um, so that's really my forte, is being able to have that and being able to do that and be able to gain confidence with people on the phone.
That's right. And if you are very good at building that confidence, that trust over the phone, you do have that client. You will turn that lead into a client. So,
Right.
all right, Larry, what's in with our next question?
Yeah. Our next question now would be, in April alone, you closed 18 million. What mindset shift or business habit do you believe most contributed to that breakthrough month?
I love this market that we're in. Um, I mean, I love the flooded out properties, the properties on the beach, the stuff that is ugly. I mean, you don't know this, but the expression "we buy ugly houses" that you've seen on every billboard in the country
Mhm.
is actually my expression. I actually gave that to home investors. So that is what I like to do. I've bought and sold 1,000 of my own homes. I've remodeled 237 of them. I know construction. That's what this market needs right now, is an understanding. So when you're looking at property on the beach and you're looking at flooded out homes, to me there are three factors in a home to build value. If that home has been cut out to 4 feet of drywall, then really your value is on the outside of the property. You have a seawall, you have a dock, and you have a pool. Those three factors are about $300,000 in value. So being able to explain to customers and go out and see flooded out homes, and you go and you educate them, and you build a value in yourself, because you're showing people that this other house at 800,000 is not as good a value as this other one at 1.2 million, because the one at 1.2 million has all this other infrastructure in place that adds value to that property.
Right.
Even if they're leveling it, they still need a good dock, a good boat lift, and a good seawall. The pool may have to go, but you explain to the customer that this added value is incredibly important to your decision making process. So I guess the answer to your question is the flooded out stuff, understanding that market, um, helping customers with that. I had 5 listings when the hurricane came. I had a $2 million sale that was supposed to happen the day before the hurricane, and that I had both sides of. Two of those we held together. Two of them we got the houses remodeled. a lot of those houses were remodeled with my help. Um, we got one house, a $2 million house, back on the market before everybody else did. There was no competition out there. We priced it at the same price we did pre-hurricane, and we sold it because there was no, everybody else was 4 feet of drywall cut out, and this house didn't have that. So understanding that flooded market, I think is important. I've even bought 3 houses on the water out here on the beach because in 2009, I sat back and I watched the world happen around me and all these opportunities get swallowed up. And I sat on the sideline and watched. And I swore if I ever had the opportunity, I wouldn't let that happen again.
So
Okay.
you're maintaining a positive mindset in the market that you're in, and you're just the old saying, you're turning lemons into lemonade.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
And
All right.
that's fantastic.
Mhm.
Great mindset too.
Thank
That's
you.
right. It
Yeah, we've
is.
tried to focus people in that direction, and some have gone it, and some, get frustrated with the process and move on. But you just endure through it and go get their client through the process, and the end result is a fabulous month like you had.
Thank you.
All right, so many agents feel like that their business is flatlining during market uncertainty. What do you do differently when the times do get tough to stay ahead and avoid these plateaus? And I think you did cover some of that. Was there anything else that you would like to add to that, Al?
You know, I think plateaus are unavoidable. Um, I'm fortunate, back in the day when I was in that little walk-in closet and you were down the hall from me,
Mhm.
um, my mind's, I was retired for 10 years. And when I decided to come back in the business, I had a goal. And my goal was to make $200,000 a year. I mean, to me, because I understand real estate so well, this is to me the easiest $200,000 a year business that there is. I never expected the business, nor did I anticipate the business to do what it has done for me and to provide the income that I'm deriving from it now. But plateaus are unavoidable. It was funny because I was looking back the other day at my golf game, and I'm realizing that what it has slowed down right now, and I'm back at the golf course a lot more than I was before. So I'm fortunate that I can relax, I can enjoy the downtime. I don't have to get nervous about the downtime, and I know that the sales, because of the infrastructure that I have in place, will come when the time is right.
So, as I said earlier, you have planned your business by design, not by default. So you have a plan and you're working that plan.
Yes.
Okay. All right, Larry.
Well, obviously we've talked about, you're working the beach market, which we all know, our beaches took a very strong hit from the hurricane, and you've adapted. What opportunities are you seeing that others might be overlooking?
Well, I think I covered a lot of that already.
Right.
Um, you know, I think knowing how you add value uh, to people in your business, my added value is my knowledge of construction. Um, I take every opportunity I can to go out and meet with contractors. Like I've got another handyman that I just met with who's doing beautiful work for a customer of mine. He and I spoke one day for about an hour. It's important for me to be able to understand um, what their pricing is so that I understand how to help quote people with the different price. Larry, I'm sorry, I may have got off track there. What was your question again?
The question is what opportunities are you seeing that others might be overlooking?
Okay. Um, so again, it goes back to the flooded homes, understanding the market. pricing correctly, which is a huge challenge right now. So that's what I would say.
Okay. And what advice would you give somebody that wanted to try to break into that market?
Breaking into that market or breaking,
Mhm.
um,
Breaking into, obviously, we both live out on the beaches and we see the damage, as we come and go every day. And, like where I live, there's only 25% of us that are back. I don't know what the numbers, I think St. Pete Beach is a little higher. How would you tell someone to, if they were interested in doing this, what is their best course? I mean, because we have people not living in their homes, so mailing to them, they may or may not get it. What recommendations would you have to somebody that wanted to break into that, but not into your market, but that segment of the market?
well, you know, one of the things that I did during the storm is I went around and I saw people, I knocked on their doors, I tried to help with whatever that they had going on. I gave advice expecting nothing in return. Um, I still have people calling me, and I've got no dog in the hunt. I'm not trying to solicit their business. I'm not trying to get their business to sell their home. All I'm doing is counseling. Um, I'm helping people understand that you can get a new FEMA appraisal to get the value. So you have what they call substantially damaged houses and non-substantially damaged houses. So having a substantial damage letter from a customer, they think that's the kiss of death. And I can counsel them, and I've had about a dozen that were substantially damaged that we've gotten turned around, and now they're able to work on their houses and get their houses fixed up. So understanding that market, counseling with people, spending time with people. Again, it goes back to that 75% of your time is wasting time. Do things that are building rapport without expecting anything in return. You help people get what they want out of life, and you'll get everything you expect out of life. So don't go into a situation reaching for somebody's pocketbook. Go into a situation genuinely trying to help people.
Yes.
That's fantastic. And I know some of our agents did get out. I volunteered during the storm, that sort of thing. There was no agenda,
No,
at all there. It was just,
no.
you saw your neighbors in distress and reaching out. So that's
Mhm.
great advice. Uh, Janine, you want to move on to the
Yeah, yeah. So one of the last questions that we have for you, Al, is if you were mentoring a struggling agent today, what 3 actions would you tell them to start doing immediately to regain their momentum and confidence in their business?
Okay. So one thing that I do is I always wear my Remax shirt.
Mhm.
Everybody always knows what I do for a living. So I don't think there's anything you can do to over advertise yourself. This is cheap to wear a shirt. And it's not a name tag where people think you're silly because you didn't take your name tag off. It's embroidered, so you can't take it off.
Right.
So to me, what you wear should be a uniform and not necessarily anything else. I mean, I just believe that you should always show what you do. Um, if you were a beginning agent and you were coming into this business and you were struggling, I would say get on a team. Get on it because you can't, there's nothing you can do in this business to give you knowledge, real knowledge, except get in front of people, learn to walk the walk, talk the talk, hear people around you, being surrounded by a team who may be in the same room, if people do that anymore, um, and being able to hear what everybody else is saying, I think is critical to the development of a new person.
Mhm.
Um, Never stop marketing. Continue all the time to market. Continue all the time to get in front of people. I've got a circle of about 30 friends who were all previous customers. And we all get together all the time. Barbecues, everybody gets invited. A lot of the people in my area are coming here and have no friends. They have nobody. But you walk into my circle, if I like you and I introduce you to my group, you're immediately surrounded by a group of 30 friends. So having that circle, maybe it's different than your regular friend circle, but having that circle of customers where that you genuinely like. I know that when we do a barbecue, they almost always bring me up and say, everybody know who our common denominator is here? Everybody know who introduced every one of us? And it's me. Always they bring me up and thank me for introducing them to that circle of friends. So these are things that don't cost a lot of money. You're bringing a covered dish. You're doing different things. So staying in touch with your core group, because it's that core group that's going to refer you to all of their friends, all of their family. So you got to stay top of mind with that group. So those would be, I think that was 3 things. It might have been 4.
Yeah. Great information. Great.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And it is important to, I love that. Stay in touch with your core group, because sometimes we don't do that. And
the other thing too is that Susie, my wife, calls me a pollinator. Okay, so when we go out to a bar, we're sitting down having cocktails, I never sit.
right.
And I flutter around and I pollinate this person and I go around here and I pollinate that person. I'm always talking. Some people are energized by people, and some people are exhausted by people. Susie's exhausted by people. People give me energy. I love talking. That's just part of my personality and my persona.
Yeah, mine too. I get energy
We've
from.
never met a stranger, have we, Janine?
So, all right. Well, is there anything else that you'd like to add as we wrap up today, Al?
I would just say that I'm very humbled to work and be around the management that I have the opportunity to be around, to work around the agents. Gosh, I love everybody. There's no, when you're around a business that has large personalities, successful personalities, you oftentimes run into prima donnas, people who have bad attitudes. And I would thank Metro for surrounding our group with people that just love to help each other.
Mhm. Well, thank you. And you are so right. I don't know one agent within our organization that wouldn't help
I
as,
agree.
as you're helping
I
today.
agree with that. I agree with that.
So, all right. Well, Metro, we're only a phone call away. So if you have any questions, and we want to thank you, Al, for coming on today and giving some insight to what's going on out at the beaches and all of the information that you shared today. So, Larry, anything else that you'd like to add?
Just like to thank Al for all those words of wisdom. I mean, you're out there, boots on the ground, and giving great advice to those that could find a new niche market. So we
And I'm
appreciate
always available. There's not a person in our office that can't call me. Um, maybe, the way I look at things is sometimes different than the way other people do. Um, so anytime anybody wants to talk and wants some advice or wants to discuss maybe a different way of doing something, I'm available to anybody.
Okay. Well, thank you, Al, and we appreciate you being here
Thank you.
today. All
Yeah, thank you
right.
so much, Al.
Bye-bye.
Thank you,
Bye.
everybody.
Okay.